Staff?
We're ready?
Okay?
Yes.
Everybody all right? Mr. Mayor, you set? You're good? Okay. Board members? We're squared away? Okay. Very good. Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Emmitsburg Town Meeting for January 22nd, 2018. This meeting had been originally scheduled for January 28th, 2018, but was delayed due to inclement, icy weather. At this time, I'll ask folks to please turn their cell phones to silent mode or off in respect to decorum or for the meeting. And then I'll ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Scheduled for future meetings, we have a quarterly planning commission meeting on January 29th, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. here. Our next town council meeting will occur on February 5th, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. Are there any other meetings to announce? Mr. Ritz, yes, sir.
Parks and Recreation, Tuesday, February 20th at 7:30.
Okay, very good. Any other town meeting? Yes, sir. Mr.
No, it's not
Sweeney.
town, but
Okay.
we're having a Heritage Day meeting on February the 13th at the American Legion SAL room,
Okay. Terrific.
7 p.m.
7 p.m. All right. And in connection to Livable Frederick, the Frederick County Master Plan, they have a number of meetings scheduled. The closest to us is at Catoctin High School. It will be on February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. It will run from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Preceding that one, there's going to be one at the Frederick High School, and that will take place on the 12th. That's the next closest one to us. There'll be one in Urbana on February 14th. Now that's a date, huh? And then February 1st, one will be at Oakdale, and in 2 nights there will be one in Brunswick. So if you want to get a look at the Frederick Master Plan in their presentation from the county planners, the whole Livable Frederick program, it will be there. And typically they do take feedback at these events. So if there's something in particular you like or don't like, please feel free to
Didn't
weigh
we
in.
have a presentation here of the Livable Frederick?
We did. This is what I think this is the final draft, I think, before it goes to the county commissioners, if I'm not mistaken, and they will accept it, if I understand it correctly. So pending their acceptance. How about that? Okay, any other meetings to present? No, hearing none. Okay. I assume everyone's had the opportunity to review the minutes from the December 5th meeting. Are there any modifications, changes, or enhancements that we want to see? I don't think I had any notes here. No.
I had none.
No. Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to accept the minutes from the December 5th, 2017 meeting?
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the town meeting on December 5th.
Okay, is there a second for the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. The motion's been made by Commissioner Buckman, seconded by Commissioner Sweeney. Is there any further comment? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries 5-0. Okay. All right. Deputy Whitehouse, good evening. We invite you up now for the police report.
Good evening, Deputy Whitehouse, Frederick County Sheriff's Office. This is the town report for December 2017. All right, we had 11 suspicious activities, which is good. That means people are calling and reporting. That's what we want. 6 thefts, a couple from vehicles, and I think the remainder of the other ones were from the Dollar General around Christmas time stuff, Christmas related. Proactive enforcement, we went out, walked the town 18 times, did several patrol checks. The traffic stats, we had 50 of those, 50 traffic stops for December. A couple parking complaints, which we'll get into in a second. We had a traffic arrest, and we also served a warrant. Special assignment, Ted and I, Deputy Mustower and I both attended the Christmas tree lighting ceremony at the Carriage House, which was a lot of fun. The additional information on the back, we spent a lot of time, I mean, the stats and stuff were kind of down as far as traffic stops and whatnot. We spent a lot of time in the neighborhoods around holiday time to deter package thieves. So, to my knowledge, there wasn't any packages reported stolen or anything out of any of the developments. Like I said, we spent the majority of the time in those developments during the day and into the early evening just to deter, like I said, the thefts of the packages. Myself, I assisted patrol with a couple calls for service due to the patrol north cars being busy, so those kind of ranged, I mean, up in this general area. And I helped out, assisted patrol a couple times at Mountain Manor Rehab with some calls for service there. Recently got some speed complaints on the area of West Main Street and Timber Mill Run. So we will be down there. We have been down there quite a bit in the last 2 weeks. I was down there this evening and got quite a few. But we'll be down there making a presence on West Main near Timber Mill Run. And as far as I brought to the attention of the town of vehicles parking on your new sidewalks. So we got that posted on social media and the town website, Facebook, to not park on the sidewalks. You're not allowed to park your vehicles on sidewalks.
Where exactly, and does it look like a parking spot?
It's on any sidewalk, and you'd be surprised if you drive through town that people are literally parking on sidewalks.
Just loading the
guess-
car real quick, or they're,
No, like parking and going in the house. So we've posted the traffic article, which states you cannot park your vehicle on sidewalks. So we'll be looking for that.
I think they covered that in driver's ed.
Yeah, so not only is it a traffic article citation, but you can also be cited by our code enforcement because it is in our code as well.
Okay.
So I know that was quick, but as I said, it was kind of a slow month overall. Spending a lot of time doing other things. And is there any questions anybody has at this point?
A question for staff. Behind the Odd House, I don't know who's parking there, but I've seen more than a few times people driving right over the sidewalk to exit from there. It looked like a brown Ford pickup truck. No, but just no. But I've seen it a few times where people are exiting
Okay.
that way. Just to be mindful of that.
Okay.
And with our new sidewalks, I'm extra super touchy, I guess. So.
Exactly.
I do have, maybe, I don't know if it has to do with, I don't know, safety or this. Since we've had a lot of rain and freezing and thawing, there is in the Legion North, I guess it's North Alley on the West Main Street side, behind the tattoo parlor, there is a big ice slick comes out across the road. People are either going to fall or slide out into the traffic, or it refreezes every night, but it's coming from the drain. So I didn't know if anybody wrecked there yet or not. It's going to be causing an accident here after a bit. We
Like
get hard
the
freeze
drain
we did
from the
before.
coming from the house.
I don't know whose it's coming from. It's coming from some kind of drain right there. It's going out across the whole road, covering the whole end of the alley
Sun
where the
pump
stop
or
sign
something?
is. So a resident come to me and asked me if I would bring it up. He's afraid somebody's going to get hit, walking or sliding down, and he took me out and walked me up, showed it to me, and it was froze. Then it's not froze now, but there's a lot of rain and stuff coming tonight, and then it might freeze again, and you'll see a lot of water
Okay.
frozen there.
We'll see what we can do. Take a look at it.
But I don't know which unit it's coming from, either VFW or the
Right.
tattoo place. I don't know which place it's coming from.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for the deputy? Great. Thank you very much, sir. Be
Thank
safe.
you.
Okay. All right. Moving forward. We now turn to the town manager.
Yes. Good evening. This is the town manager's report for November of 2017. I'll just highlight some of the key points. Under the streets, staff work with the GIS analyst on mapping of the utilities around town. Staff conducted monthly street sweeping. We used to only do street sweeping before significant events in town. However, per the MS4 permit, we are required to do it monthly now. So we'll be conducting street sweeping every month, once a month. Contractor blacktopped the water leak patch on South Seaton Avenue by the post office, and then one on Carrot Court. Related to the sidewalk and bridge project, staff repaired a water line to 104 West Main Street that the contractor struck during the sidewalk project. And then staff repaired a water leak on a service line to 30 West Main Street after the contractor dug through the line. In the parks, contractor completed the installation fence around, completed installing the fence around the community park dog park. Staff winterized all the park restroom buildings. For water, Rainbow Lake is currently at its spillway level. And if you jump down, you'll see the well levels for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The well number 1 and number 2 usage is down as we're starting to get our lake number. So we're having to do less backwashes, so we need to pull less from the wells. In wastewater, we received about 2.3 inches of participation in the month of November. We currently have a surplus of 1.62 over the last 6 months. We had no spills during the month of November, and we did not exceed the plant's design capacity at any time in the month of November. And trash pickup will remain on Mondays during January. Under there, you'll see the top meetings that I attended for the month of November. Under noteworthy, I have some items, and one in particular that I'd like to discuss. Noteworthy, the water plant needs a new, and this is just kind of FYI to get you some things that have come over across my desk over the past month or two. The water plant needs a new computer system to keep up with technology. That system has not been replaced since the water plant was built, and that the computer system's about $12,000. Dan Fissel took a tour of the watershed and Scott Road Farm with a conservancy group. They should be sending us a status. Thought we would have received it by now, but we have not. We had a surprise inspection by MDE at our wastewater treatment plant, and everything is good with our operations. Brings me to an incident that occurred beginning, I believe it was the week of January 8th. Do you have my clicker? You have a clicker? Thanks. January 8th, the 8-inch water line on the mountain serves 4 residents on Hampton Valley Road and Crystal Fountain Road. And if you look at the map there, it kind of shows you that 8-inch line was installed in the 1930s. There's been concerns over this line, over the condition of this line for at least the last 10 years. Approximately, at our best guess right now, at least 200 feet of the line sits on top of the surface, either through the creek or along the embankment, which is exposed to the elements. The condition of the line in spots is deteriorating, and it's in really bad condition. In 2013, and I have pictures as we go through this, there was a significant break in the line that staff repaired. So fast forward to January 8th, 2018, we received a recall from 8935 Hampton Valley Road, which, where's my little pointer? There it is. That's 8935A. It's 8935. Is that my latest one? Just bear with me 1 minute. Yeah, it's not an A, but it's 8935 Hampton Valley Road. It's the Springer residence. We received a call that they had no water, and January 8th, we had been experiencing sub-zero temperatures for an extended period of time. Staff believed that the service line was frozen, which was causing them not to have any water. It took several days, January 8th, January 9th, January 10th. They continued to try to unthaw the line with no success. January 11th, staff worked from about 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., dug out the line, installed a curb box, and had water from the 8-inch line of the curb box, ran hot water, and water came through the curb stop, but there wasn't enough pressure. So Determined that the 8-inch line may be frozen, so the main 8-inch water line, not the actual service line, but the connection of the line, which is the blue dots there. That's your 8-inch, that's your main line coming down the mountain. Here's your wastewater, or here's your water treatment plant. So determined that the 8-inch main line may be frozen. That's why they were unable to push any water to the house. We purchased a pump from Lowe's to help get water from the 8-inch main line to the house. We were successful in getting them water. Something broke loose in the 8-inch main line, probably, or their service line, probably from the heat, a combination of the heat and the pump. On the 12th, we got a call from 8744 Crystal Fountain Road, which is right there, closer to the water treatment plant. The resident there found a major leak or break in the 8-inch main line behind 8744 Crystal Fountain Road. That resident did not have water. Staff and a contractor cut about 80 feet of the section of pipe, installed a cap at each end, and ran about 80 feet of 1-inch pipe, which we'll get to the pictures, on top of the ground for temporary service. Flow okay. So at that point on January 12th, all parties had water. 8935 had their pump, and they had water. We capped that, and they had water. These are all temporary fixes to get them water. We went into the weekend. Everybody thought everything was great. Come back to work. We're going to have a plan. January 17th, no water again at 8935. The pump malfunctioned and flooded the Springer's basement.
Oh, jeez.
We had to hire a company to clean their basement as there was damage to some belongings and drywall. The pump was returned to Lowe's. They credited us the $500. At that point, staff has exhausted all efforts to get 8935 water, or 8935 water. There's no way to repair the 8-inch main line, so he can have water. The 8-inch line is unrepairable at this point without major cost to the town. 8935 was told that they would be out of water until we could make some adjustments. The plan staff came up with is 8935 is close enough to the 10-inch line. They're going to cut the 8-inch main, cap it, and connect 8935 to the 10-inch main service line. And I don't have that one up there. And that's going to happen tomorrow. Today they were saw cutting the road, got the appropriate permits, and have prepped for the work. Mr. Springer was told that he would not have water till this was fixed. He was offered, and all parties were, throughout this whole process, were offered drinking water. The town would reimburse them as well as put them up in a hotel. Nobody took us up on it, but we continue to offer that to them. I'm going to click to some pictures. So this is in 2013. Maybe we can hit one of these lights.
Sure.
Easier to see.
I'm sorry. Just
Okay.
That's good.
See
Yeah.
where the air is pointing? This is your 8-inch line. Right here, sitting in the creek. This is 2013. That there is a complete break in your line. And
So it
that was
appears
back.
a tree fell on that to cause that.
That is when
'cause
a
it's that
tree
exposed.
fell,
Yeah.
and they found other breaks in it as well at the same time. Again, there's your break, but here, as you can see, the condition of this 8-inch line sitting on top of the surface. All right, there's another picture of it, and you never want your water line sitting on top of the surface. You
Correct.
can't protect it from the elements.
Are we able to go back and find out why they did that?
It was well, 1930s. It was buried. You're talking
The stream bed shifted.
80 years
Okay.
later.
Version.
Right. So, 2013, now you jump to 2018. Stop jumping on me. It's hard to see where the arrow is pointing. This is your line. This is additional line in addition to what was exposed in 2013, where it's exposed now. Okay. Again, these pictures, it was foggy, it was rainy, it was not a good day. So here's your line running along the embankment there. This is where the break is, here's where the water line is exposed. The break is all along here and underneath the concrete. That break is what we found back on January 12th. There's the temporary line that they use to get water to the residents. In the meantime, a line of that condition is going to freeze very quickly.
I was gonna say.
Fortunately, we've had warmer weather to allow us to get a plan together.
Are we trenching, or is there any intent for the temporary
No.
line to be? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead. Yeah, I'll get to that. Yes, you're correct. So that's the connection to the 8-inch line. If we go back.
Can I
So
ask
as
a
it stands
question?
now, tomorrow,
Can I ask the question? Can you go back to that other picture?
which one?
The next, not that one. The one that showed the line coming out of the cap.
The old,
The
where the old
hole was
meets the
dug.
new.
Where the blue pipe comes out, where the blue pipe comes the temporary line. Mm-hmm. How are you keeping that on without blowing it all? See it there?
Right there?
What's holding it from blowing off?
And I don't know the particular details, but the way that they have it connected, of what I'm being told, that it's not blowing off. I'm not sure. They're supposed to run that. Where am I at here?
It looks like there's a double clamp on it.
Right.
Unless it's a mega.
Well, though,
unless it's-
what they're
if it's
gonna-
cast iron or ductile iron pipe. Do you know?
I believe it's ductile.
Okay.
But that's a question, don't quote me on
That's
that.
fine then.
So what the plan is, and we'll get back to that. So for 8935, the one at the bottom of the mountain that we cannot get connected to the 8-inch line at all, like I said, tomorrow, we're gonna take them off the 8-inch line for good, the 8-inch main line, and connect them to the 10-inch main water line. And that's gonna happen tomorrow.
What about
As-
the other three?
As far as this is concerned here, staff's gonna have to dig up a portion of the 8-inch water main and run the temporary through it to protect it. We have sent letters. Let's go back to the map. So that takes care of 8935. Where am I at? Come on, go back, come back, go back. One more, okay. So, there's one house that's not showing up on here, and that would be, 87,
B.
8825A. 8925A Hampton Valley Road here. So what you had 4 houses on that 8-inch line. He's taken care of, 8935's taken care of.
Temporarily.
No, well, as of tomorrow, he will be taken care of. He'll be put on the 10-inch line. He'll have water. There'll be no issues. So these 3 houses, 8744, 8825, and 8804, are still on the 8-inch line. The 8-inch line is unrepairable at this point. You know, there's no guarantee. It's only a matter of time till it blows somewhere else, and we're dealing with another significant leak. We need to get them all off the 8-inch line.
Is the 10-inch line in good shape?
You cannot connect these to the 10-inch. These 3 here, the distance is too great to connect. It's estimated to, if you were to replace the 8-inch line, it's estimated at $1 million to replace that line. So the plan is, and once we develop the plan, obviously we'll come back to you for approval to spend the money, and it has been done in the past, to offer 8744 and the other 2 residents here to, for wells. To take them off the 8-inch line altogether and have wells installed on each of their properties at the town's cost. It has been done at, I believe, 3 other residents in the past. That was before my time.
Can I ask a question? Because, pardon my ignorance. I mean, I know about Mountain View Road, and that's connected to the town. It's water. Why was this 8-inch line installed for these residences back in the day when, I mean, they're so far out of town limits?
Your guess is as
I
good
mean,
as
I know
mine.
it's the
Back in
watershed, but
1930s,
why
I don't
wouldn't they
know.
have a well in the first place? I just.
I don't know.
10 houses.
They may
There
have.
was more
That's-
houses there before that. There were more houses.
There's
in
more
there.
houses up here like that.
Sure, that aren't on the system, though.
I'm just
Right.
curious to see what agreement, why was the 8-inch line installed in the 1930s in the first place?
I don't know. So what we did, I really don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But, you know, who knows what the reasoning was? You, Mr. Mayor, do you know?
The town bought a water company that,
That's right.
Serve them?
yes. and
That's
served-
correct.
Took it out Mountain View Road and out
That's
west
correct.
end of 140, and they were already being served outside the town. Just, that's what the town bought, the water company.
So here's a question. A number of years ago, we dealt with we dealt with properties on Mountain View Road with a wastewater line. And I believe our action was, we provided those houses, I think, basically a notice that at some point in time, they were going to be responsible for their own wastewater. Do you recall something like this? This
That's
predates you in
towards
this
the,
position?
yeah, those are the ones that are further down with the grinder pumps.
Correct,
Then the
correct.
town purchased those grinder pumps.
Correct, but once the purchase was made, those were handed off to the owners?
And that's the plan with doing the
that-
well.
Okay.
So what we've done, so we sent those 3 residents letters. 8744 is very happy with the suggestion. They are already expressed interest in a well. We're still waiting to hear back from the other 2 to see, and then we've offered for them all to come in for meetings and figure out how we're going to proceed on that route. The intention, the purpose of this is just to give you the update. Not only is it, been costly for the town, it's taken up an enormous amount of staff time, and this will be something that, if you recall, when I discussed the budget or this upcoming fiscal year, this was one of the items that was on the wish list for the water department, because we knew the condition of this line was so bad that eventually we were going to have to do something. Unfortunately, we didn't do it quick enough. So that's where we are with the 8-inch mountain line.
Is the 8-inch line connected to the 10?
I don't
It
know. I don't
crosses
believe
over.
so, because there's the shut-off for the 8-inch line there,
Where's the crossover at?
right there.
I mean, where does it connect to the other end of where the shut-off is?
It's not on here. I don't know. Not off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
So we'll be able to abandon both ends and not have to worry about ever having any problems? with it?
Correct. We will be just done with that 8-inch line.
I love the well idea. That's great. When I lived out in the country at one point in my life, my whole subdivision was on one well. Why can't they share one well?
This is deceiving. There's significant distances apart. And once you put the well on their property, it becomes that homeowner's responsibility. I don't think they want to share responsibility. And and this is deceiving. The distances are quite great.
It's pretty sizable.
Elevation as
A
well.
big,
Correct.
correct, yeah, a big elevation.
There is one
change.
house that may not, and that's the one that didn't show up on here. The 8825A sits way down in kind of like a gully that it may not even be possible to do a water line. As it stands right now, we don't even believe that it's occupied, so we're waiting to hear back from that property owner and what we can do as far as they're concerned. And then ultimately, we'll discuss it with John Clapp as to what our responsibilities are to provide water service to those residents, because Maryland law and requirements, we want to make sure that we follow the rules.
Sure.
So,
Is part of the consideration a replacement for the 8-inch line?
at $1 million.
But to phase in a replacement to
No.
that, is that, there's
We
no
don't need it. There's 4 houses.
That's right.
That's all that's on that line.
Oh,
Yes.
so is it it's not a redundant system for the town or anything?
No.
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 It serves those properties?
4 houses.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So we can get those 4 houses off of it. Well, one's coming off, so then you've got 3. You get those 3 off of it, and then you don't have to worry about doing anything with that line.
I had no
In the
idea.
long run, it's a lot more
I didn't know it was
cost
there.
effective.
Sure.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think I
There's
remember
logic
seeing it
there, yeah.
in the water, but I didn't take.
And obviously, we'll bring it back to you when the plan's in place for approval to spend the funds, and we'll have a little bit more information how the connections and everything are going to go.
Do you know how much a well costs
We're
today?
estimating high. We've got to put 3 of them on wells. We're estimating 50,000 to do the wells and house connections. probably aiming a little high, but we'll get 3 estimates on it.
Mr. Sweeney, any experience with the well end of the business?
No, I don't have any well experience, but if the line doesn't serve any, I would just disconnect it and not worry about it anymore. So,
It'll save a lot of staff time, and
water
it took them
loss.
quite a bit of time to find the actual break because
Probably,
it's up in the
and that's
mountain.
connected to our main line, right? Correct? Our main system?
It's gonna be all disconnected.
I mean, it's connected now.
I don't know the answer to that.
Because, probably has a lot of leaks in it you don't even know about. It's just going down through the rocks and everything.
Right.
It's probably a
Right.
lot where a lot
These
of
are only the
bruising, a
ones
lot
we
of
know
water.
of right now.
Okay, second question related to the 10-inch line. I don't recall hearing the age of the 10-inch line. Do we know the age?
That
of
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, fair enough.
I know it's much newer, but I don't know the date of it.
From 1930, anything's newer, sorry, Mom. But nevertheless, oops. But besides that,
I have one other noteworthy item that I'd like to add.
but should we consider, if we could find out at a future time, the age of the 10-inch line? Because maybe that's something we have to start prepping for also. You know what I'm saying?
We are, I lost my pen. The Public Works Department, myself, Mr. Fissel, Mr. Click, Mr. Tabler are all gonna sit down and we're gonna go over some of the priority areas for the water and sewer infrastructure, get estimates together and start making a plan on, 3, 5, 10-year plan on how these things can be fixed to maybe avoid this in the future. So I will get the age of the 10-inch line.
1980s is ringing a bell for me. There was a lot of water line work.
That probably wouldn't be too far off, but I will find out. I don't know.
Do you have another question?
And one last item that we dealt with over the weekend of January 13th at our pumping station on Creamery Road. There was some sort of power surge that we're unsure how it happened. So there's a power surge over the weekend which caused the generator to kick on for 20 minutes and then kicked off for 20, and no pump ran for a significant period of time until staff came in on the Sunday. So it would have happened on Saturday, came in on Sunday to find that we had overflowed at the pump station and there was an overflow at the Emmett Gardens. So pump 1 at the pumping station is currently working. Pump 2 is not working. Staff has tried to fix it. We've been unable to fix it. A contractor's coming out on Wednesday. We don't know the extent of the damage to the pump or the motor and what the cost may be to fix that or replace that. We are going to, we had looked at a grant originally to replace the pumps because they are outdated. Nobody makes them anymore. But to get to the new pumps, you need a new facility essentially, the way they're configured. So we had to pass on that grant for now. And Mr. Fissel has been doing a lot of work with the flows of the sewer that come into town. And we believe we've kind of pinpointed where there is a break in the sewer line that's causing a lot of the wild water. When the weather breaks and we get some time, we're going to send a camera down that. At this time, we believe it's somewhere on West Main Street in the area of Harrington's. If that's the case, you're talking underneath Main Street. I just bring this to your attention because that's something else that we may need to take care of in the near future. So I'll know an estimate on the pumps on Wednesday when they come out. I'm just trying to make sure you guys are up to date on this kind of, okay.
The question I have related to this information at the pump stations, was it cold weather related? I mean, is there any possibility of that?
That's
or?
when we had that enormous amount of rain.
Okay, all right, so that's part one. Second part is, this is or is not the site where we have the energy filter?
Right, this is where we do have the Power Star, but what we can determine is the surge happened somewhere after Power Star.
Interesting.
And we're not, they've been trying to work on it for days. Ms. Shaw and I went out and looked at everything, and then, we don't know.
Have
So
we-
the
ha-
contractor's gonna come out on Wednesday, maybe we'll have a better answer.
You don't think it was hit by lightning, do you?
I don't know.
Because I think we had a thunderstorm that, there was hail and everything. I'm pretty sure hail, there was ice and everything coming down. I know it rained hard. I haven't had water in my basement in 10 years, and my whole basement was flooded.
Oh,
That's how hard it rained.
Really? Wow, you sit up high too.
And I set up high. So we had an enormous amount of rain at one time. So it has to be a lot for my basement to get water out, because I sit on top of a hill.
so the contractor who we're contacting, are they related to pump maintenance or Energy Star maintenance?
Pump maintenance.
Okay.
They're coming out to look at the motor and look at the pump and see if the pump, if the motor can be fixed, can be repaired. Do we need a new motor? Do we need a new pump?
Sure,
They're
sure,
gonna
sure.
tell us what we need. We're talking about whether or not we need to contact the power company to see, but they did record, I mean, I know, I live in town, I know my power went in and out quite a bit
Correct.
during that, and so
Same.
there were power surges. If it was just an unfortunate surge, kind of like the perfect storm between the rain and the power surge all at the same time, that it just, I don't know if it fried the motor or what.
Sure,
So
sure,
we'll
sure.
know more on Wednesday.
Okay, machines are machines.
It's been a rough couple weeks in here,
Say, okay. Thank you. All right,
and that's all I have.
thank you. All right, I'll sort of back up on sort of the editorial side. Part of the reason I pushed to have this meeting when we had canceled the first one as opposed to waiting, and I talked to the mayor about this, was the idea that in case something came up that we need to be mindful of. So I think this sort of justifies it to a point. So town staff, thank you for your due diligence, and thank staff for their Herculean efforts.
Yes.
You know, knee-deep in cold water.
Yes.
Okay, so from here, we turn to the planner's report. Is there any points from the planner's
Let me
report that we need to
look at her report
be
real
mindful
quick.
of?
We did receive, under Sustainable Communities Program, we did receive confirmation of the extension of the town's participate in the program. We received our confirmation, and they did agree to extend the area into our parks and include a portion of North Seaton and South Seaton. She continues to work on permits, and she does a lot of the coordination on the Square project. The MS4 permit, she completed that, and that was due at the end of December, and that was turned in on time. We are still waiting for any reports back on that. That's about it for the planner's report.
The MS4 compliance having the street sweeper. You had said we have an attachment that we're doing street sweeping with, or do we actually have a vacuum truck?
We
or
actually have a street sweeper.
like an actual truck dedicated to that task?
I believe so, yes.
No kidding. Okay, all right. Okay. The reason I asked two sides is I don't know if it's less expensive to contract that or to share expense of that, because I know the town of Thurmont has one.
Right,
And, you know, if we
piggyback,
consider that, you know, a thought.
right.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Any more from staff?
No.
No? Okay, all right, moving forward. We now turn to the commissioner comments. Commissioner Buckman.
I just had one request from the Seton Center. They wanted some clarity as to which way Lincoln was going to be going. Is it going in two directions once they're open?
Yes.
And I kind of wanted to know that too.
Part of the planning commission's review of the proposal for the Seton Center was to address the traffic. The Seton Center promotes their traffic to come in Federal to the new Seton Center. And the traffic studies that were done based on the traffic that was at Seton Center, they don't envision a large influx of traffic down East Lincoln. They're hoping that there'll be a lot of walking traffic now that it is moved in town. But on their website and all correspondence, their Facebook with all their deliveries, they encourage any vehicular traffic to come down Federal Avenue.
And that's sort of right in front
It's
of
straight, it goes right into the new, it will go right into the new Seton Center.
Are we changing directions on the other ones, or they're
No.
just exactly the same?
Yep, everything will be the same. Traffic will be the same.
Okay, great. Anything else? Oh, great. Okay. Commissioner Ritz?
All I have to add is another reminder for the Parks and Rec meeting later in February. Hopefully better turnout than last time. It's pretty lonely with just me and President O'Donnell there. And I do have some more information for interest in summer concert series. A lot of interest. So
Great.
looking at that, trying to get some really good committals there so we can get those dates penciled in.
Right, and if you
saved.
get, as we start prepping for the budget, which will probably start about the first part of March, if you have a dollar amount, as you're making contact with these, so we know to budget that amount for these concerts.
Okay.
Because they'll start in June, July, so we'll add it to
Yeah,
the
but-
fiscal year.
So we're up to June 30th on our budget, and then
Correct.
yeah, so it'll be in the next one. No, it's perfect. Thank you.
Great.
That's all I
Anything
have.
else? Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Sure. If you want to double back.
Yeah, can I double back real quick? I just wanted to mention, thanks to John Phoebus of Yoga to You and the library, we have a yoga program going Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6:30 to 7:30, even in the snow, as long as the library is open.
Is there a fee related to it?
It's donation. The suggested donation is 10, but if you have back pain and you don't have a dollar, you come and you're still going to do yoga, and no one's going to even look. It's a box. You put your money in or you don't.
And is it introductory?
It's introductory.
Okay, so everyone's welcome.
Everybody is welcome.
Very good. Okay, cool. Commissioner Sweeney?
I do have 2 questions for Kathy. How is the lake doing with the new sonar stuff we have in it?
It was actually pulled out before Christmas due to the cold weather. We were, as I mentioned, well 1 and well 2, we were pulling less from because it was working against the algae. We are now crunching our numbers and should be meeting with the company, Kirshner, in probably February to go over the numbers and the success metrics that we agreed to evaluate it. So we should
That's
know
on-
more probably at the March
So
meeting.
it's doing its job?
We believe so. There's some areas we'd like to see some improvement. Unfortunately, we did lose that month of communication, so I don't think we got a good year. I think there's some changes that we can make that it will be very beneficial to the town.
We still haven't had to put any chemicals in.
No,
That's good.
we did get away with not putting the Green Clean Pro in this year.
That's good. The other one is the swimming pool. How are we doing on the swimming pool?
We are doing outstanding on the swimming pool. He believes he is ahead of schedule. He's gotten a lot of the work done. We can discuss it more on my budget transfers of some of the work that needs to be done still, but he is ahead of schedule. If you've taken a look at it,
Looks good.
it looks good. So we should be ready to open.
That's good. Everybody's excited for it to come over.
I am too.
Thank
too.
you.
We do, and just to that real quick, we do have bids out requesting pool management companies. We'll probably be bringing that to you in March.
Okay. Commissioner Blanchard?
Just a couple things, Mr. President. Obviously, all the attention on the weather tonight. Obviously, we're getting respite from the cold, but we did a pretty cold Arctic snap there for a while. So, just we do have a large number of elderly in our community. So, just asking people to keep an eye on your neighbors. Gets really cold like that, you don't see your neighbor for a while. There are, I know through the Seton Center in the past, they've had what's the word I'm looking for here? Not oil rebates, but oil small amounts of money basically to help them pay for the oil. So people are struggling to try to pay their oil bill. There is small subsidies from the Seton Center to keep them going, to keep them from freezing anyways. That along the line also, we've been, knock on wood here, no major storms, but if something does happen over the next couple weeks, again, keep an eye on your elderly, see if you can help out with the cold, with the ice and snow, etc. It can be very problematic trying to get out and trying to take care of this, especially with people falling and things of that nature. The winter can be really long. Just kind of put a plug for a couple of activities. Mountain basketball, of course, is in session. It's always a nice, cheap activity to do that, it's not that far away to go check out something. And the library here has tremendous amounts of programs during the weekend, including basketball for little guys. So you're looking for stuff to do, there is stuff to do to kind of get you through the winter. So that's what I got.
Great. Okay. Thank you, sir. As for myself, I had a couple meetings that I'll share with you. I met with somebody from the H&F Trolley Trail Committee. The efforts to get the old trolley line converted to a trail network leading from near Frederick City to Thurmont. I asked and advised, please be mindful that look at it as a regional thing as opposed to just a Thurmont thing, and that we'd like to see connectivity with Thurmont as part of that program. To find some means to connect as a safe route for pedestrians to and from our community, and hopefully in the perfect world on to Gettysburg and on to the C&O Canal. There's all sorts of tourism activity that goes on there, and it would be a huge economic benefit and a huge outdoor recreational asset to our community should something like that occur. I attended 2 Community Heritage Day plannings, one with the committee, got to see Mr. Sweeney there. There were no other commissioners there, no decisions were made related to anything relating to the town at that time. The other item is a second Community Heritage Day meeting with a cycling planner talking about activities that will continue this year from last year, including the safety rodeo, the road ride, and mountain biking, as well as the 2 kids rides in the afternoon. Moving from there, again, a reminder, please take the time to look at Livable Frederick. If I could encourage the community to weigh in and see what they think and provide feedback through the contact information. For town staff, thank you very much for the information you shared. I mean, these are pretty huge things. I've seen an issue that has been on 99 and on the town website related to the appropriate ice melting material, like
Yes.
the right salt and whatnot.
Right.
My hope is if it hasn't happened, we can contact the vendors and share with Jubilee and Zer Gables and maybe even Lowe's and Home Depot and so on, saying that, in the town of Emmitsburg, because of the sidewalks, be mindful. They're almost willing, I would think, in even the bigger places, to put a little signage up, like a little, 8.5 by 11
Okay.
printout, because we all want to see these wonderful sidewalks last without too much damage. Beyond that, let's see. I did attend the MML dinner in December. That was very interesting. I thought it was very useful. I saw a number of commissioners there. It was good. And beyond that, that's all I have to say. Oh, okay. I'll hold off on that till other items. Yes, so that's it. Okay. Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner Donald. It's almost ancient history, but I feel I've got to go over a couple of events I attended during December. Our almost monthly meeting with the Mount Chief of Staff we're going to meet again tomorrow, but we met on December 5th. The MML Frederick Chapter Legislative Dinner was terrific, and I think Mr. Blanchard and Commissioner, our lady there, helped us. She was there with us, Liz, and it was well attended, and really important for us to get down there. Decorated the trees with the elementary school and Mother Seton. I went to the Frederick County Board of Realtors Legislative Breakfast at Dutchess Daughter, and I heard a lot of good input from all our people going over to Annapolis. Just to hit a couple of things, Boy Scout troops, I made a presentation to them 7/27 on an evening, working on baseball. Lunch with the directors of the Frederick Heritage Center, Fire Heritage Center, breakfast with the fallen firefighters, executive director, and met with R. Michael Gill, Secretary of Commerce for the state of Maryland, with President Traynor, Christine Adamauer, and Sister Martha and I. One thing I did present a certificate to Ken Willits for donating the town tree again, and they're very kind and of them to do that annually. So far this month, we met with the Boys and Girls Club executive. We're trying to get some traction on that again, and There are a lot of things involved in there, and maybe at a future meeting we can all talk about that. I attended the 134th annual Vigilant Hose Company banquet at the ambulance company. They're wedded together, the two now, and better serve the community. And 245 people were at the event, and it was really special to be there. I met with John Fiesler, Executive Director of Tourism Council, and we're working on some interpretive signage for the town and maybe directional things, the pools here, and we're looking for grants there. Went to the county executive mayor Burgess meeting. Always good. Unfortunately, the emphasis for the roads is going to be on 270 south of Frederick. I think it may have been in the paper this morning. They're going to have 4 lanes each way, and the 2 of them are going to be toll. And I think it'll be that sensitive toll where if it's really a lot of traffic at that time, your toll might be $40 or whatever. But that has been pushed up to 2025. The coming up north of going through Frederick on 15, though, that's been pushed back to 2030. Where we really need it. So you're gonna, I can't understand. You're gonna put all these lanes here, and all these people are gonna get there quicker, and then they've got to go through the town even slower. Problem. And then Biggsford Road is 2035. But it was excellent meeting, and the county executive very kind of her to host these once a month. Lions Club banquet was wonderful, and what's his name? We had a lot of awards and seen all the, Gene Rosensteel won an award for coming back, and all the wonderful people have been with that club for 35 years, and spectacular what they do for the town. Met with Bill Leahy, who's the executive director of the Maryland Environmental Trust, known as MET. They have an easement on our 500 acres out here. It was good to talk to him, and I will meet with Chief of Staff of the Mount tomorrow morning. At lunch, I'm going to meet with the FEMA facilities manager, and then we have a green team meeting on Wednesday. Weekend, we have the Mount Hall of Fame luncheon, and we're going to do a U.S. Green Building Commission meeting. Well, Maddie and I. So the only other thing I'd add, I don't mean to take so much time, but we're out there. Kathy's tending to all these things. It's my job to be the forward observer and out there making sure we got all these things coming into play for which we need to have in play. We have 4 museums and archives in our community, and we're going to get a cut glass firework called the Volunteers, done by William Cochran. William Cochran. Just Google him. He Public Works. He's renowned. He did all the paintings on the bridges down in Frederick along the waterway there, and we're going to get a cut work for our museum here. It's about 12 by 8, and it's spectacular to have some. I talked to William. I read him down. Talked to him 2 days ago, and this guy is all over the place, nationally renowned for his work, and we're going to have some of his work here in town, and again, it's thank you to our wonderful museums for running this to ground. So, Emmitsburg, a wonderful place to live, a wonderful place to work, and it becomes more and more special every day. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, sir. Okay. We now move to our public comments, and we have none at this time, so we move forward from our public comments to administrative business related to the Catoctinets and Community Heritage Day 6K race for consideration.
Yes, what we included in your packet was a letter from Kristen Miller. She's the chairperson of the Catoctinets. If you recall, they came in and spoke at the November 6th town meeting requesting to have a 6K in town on either April 14th or 21st. It was requested by the board and Commissioner, in particular Commissioner Sweeney, about doing it in conjunction with the Community Heritage Day. They took that to their board, and they would like to pursue offering a 6K race on the morning of the 2018 Emmitsburg Community Heritage Day event, and additionally would request a vendor space to offer snowball stand to be operated by the organization. So I think the only thing they're looking for is approval from the board to allow a 6K race based off the information they provided in November.
Do we need to set a time or anything akin to that? So we
No, I
know-
think the time,
I think the,
whatever the board with the Community Heritage Day comes up with, I think as long as you approve the event,
Okay.
they'll coordinate the time through Commissioner Sweeney and his group.
Mr. Sweeney, any?
we talked, you were at the meeting too. I gave them the same letter and we talked about it and I think they're excited to have it. I think they're contacting them to set a time for when the race is, when to do the race, if it be part of our event schedule, so wouldn't overlap with something else. We have another meeting coming on February 13th, so our 12th, Monday. I think somewhere around there. It's a Monday, second Monday in
13th, you said, or
13th,
at the start of the meeting.
And then hopefully we'll hear back from them by then. We're inviting them to the meeting to come to it so we can
Right.
see what they need. And we don't have a problem with them doing a vendor stand for snowballs.
Right, there's not much that you need from town staff on
Just
this issue, just whether or not you as a board approve the event.
Okay, so is there a motion from the board to allow this run to occur on June 30th, on the morning of June 30th, which is also Community Day?
I'll make a motion to allow this run to occur on June 30th, Community Heritage Day, 2018.
Very good. Is there a second for the motion?
I'll second.
Very good. The motion's been made by Commissioner Blanchard. It's been seconded by Commissioner Ritz. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, will the police be able to help out with the race?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's gonna be a new event, so it'll be something else for you guys to do there, along with the bicycles too, so
Perfect. Thank
have
you.
you work to death that day. We appreciate all your help though.
Terrific. And second comment, I would say hopefully with consensus, we direct staff to give all hospitality, as always, to help them through the process when they do come finally for the whole thing.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So, hearing no more comment? No more comment? No more comment? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anybody against? No, the motion carries 5-0. Very good. Thank you. Moving forward. Consent agenda. We have one appointment. I'm going to try to get to that expediently. Okay. We seek the reappointment for the Citizens Advisory Committee of Mr. Conrad Weaver. Liaison. Any? Just if you want to identify the term.
Yeah, so Conrad Weaver would like to re-up his term, 11/4/2017 to 11/4/2019.
Okay, do you want to make the motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept Conrad Weaver reappointment to the Citizens Advisory Committee.
Very good. Is there a second for the motion?
I'll second.
Okay, the motion's been made by Commissioner Buckman, seconded by Commissioner Ritz. Did I hear that correctly? Okay, seconded by Commissioner Ritz. As it's consent, there's no comment. Therefore, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? The motion carries 5-0. Very good. Okay, we now turn to the treasurer for his report.
Yes, Mr. President. Town of Emmitsburg cash activity as of December 26, 2017. $5,319,503 cash balance December 1st, 2017. $5,174,258 operating balance forward. And as always, what you have is the top 10 check amounts, the vendor name, description, etc.
Great, okay. Any questions for the treasurer or town staff related to these items, the activity, for example? Very good. Okay, is there a motion to accept the report as presented by the treasurer?
I'll make a motion to accept the report. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Correct.
Oh,
Yep.
give me a funny look.
Nope. No, no.
We've never done that before.
Oh, all right.
I know,
All right.
I think
I'm
you
sorry. All right. Never mind.
New year.
He's on a roll.
Yeah. All right. We're just sorry. It's been a while. I'm a little rusty. I think we can all feel that a little bit. 45 days. All right. So, would you care to remove the motion?
I remove the motion.
Very good. Withdraw the motion. See, that's even how rusty I am. We turn now to.
I'm there for you. so
Yeah,
if you ever need
this is greatly
me again, I'll
appreciated.
be happy to.
Okay, we turn to the agenda item. Notice it's been modified that we will hear the audit at a future meeting. We anticipate February 5th for the audit report from Michelle Mills and her firm. So we now turn to the budget transfer item in the regular agenda. And the attachment, I believe, is this one page. Is that correct? In addition to,
Planning Commission report.
we did not hear, oh, I'm sorry,
Did not have a meeting.
Okay.
Yes,
There we
sorry.
go.
Is next Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yes. Yes. The budget transfers. So, as we completed, the audit's been completed and our review of all our books. Upon the completion of the FY17 audit, the town of Emmitsburg had additional revenues over expenses in the general fund in the amount of $133,751. These additional funds are now available for allocation in the capital projects fund. So the money has to be moved from the general fund to your capital projects, which is Fund 2. So your total revenue in FY17 was $1,754,974. Your expenses were $1,621,403, gives you your net balance of $133,571, which is excess. Ms. Mills, when she makes her presentation in February, will go over these numbers and what makes up the numbers. So as a result of the excess, we need to transfer funds to the capital projects. And as you can see on your handout, the recommendations from staff of where the $133,571 should be transferred into the capital fund categories, if so approved by you as the board. We do have, it was a difficult process to narrow it down to these projects here as just touching the surface of what we have. We had estimated about $165,000 worth of projects that are a priority in the general fund to date. Trying to narrow that down. These were the projects that staff and myself determined were the most important to complete some of the projects that we do currently have ongoing in town. If you want to go down line by line, we can discuss them. A transfer of $66,300 in Fund 2, Department 60, which is Parks. 191 is the pool. And how that number was determined is right now we have a remaining amount in Fund 2 of $70,387. That $70,387 is a combination of grant money that is still remaining as well as some previous transfers you approved as a board. With that being said, there are still 2 draws from the contractor that are owed. One for $72,950 and one for $18,237, which puts us over budget of about, or a negative balance of $20,800 and some change. The reason for being over budget is twofold. One was the discovery of the underground spring that needed to be repaired and the additional lighting that you as the board voted to add. So the lighting that went inside the pool was an additional cost above the contract for the pool. 2 items that need to be complete that were found upon inspection is an additional wall in the pump room due to some new standards, which is approximately $4,000, and additional electrical work due to new standards, which is about $10,500. The electrical panel that is currently there, upon inspection, was found to be corroded, and per the new standards, it cannot be located in a corrosive environment, which then required us to build this new wall and put it in an environment where there's no corrosive material. And much of the conduit, once they got into it, was found to be rusted and corroded. So both those items need to be fixed to pass inspection. So those fall under, basically under your contract or the need for the rebuilding of the pool. Additional items that need to be complete outside of the pool rebuild for us to open per either new code or the health department, we need a new roof over the pool house. They have let us slide on our permit from the health department for several years. The roof is now leaking to the point where wood is rotting. Some of the the rafters, I guess, are starting to rot as well. New roof is about $17,000 to install. Per the health department, we need to extend the fence next to Christ Community Church, which I believe I have mentioned in the past. Because of the location of the sheds at Christ Community Church, somebody could climb on top of the sheds, jump over the fence, and be in the pool, and then we're looking at potentially an accident. So we have to extend the height of the fence along the side where the Christ Community Church is. That's estimated at $3,000. Per new code, we need to install a new exhaust fan, which is $2,500. And we would like to fix the retaining wall along West Lincoln. So for those of you that have been to the pool, if you look up at West Lincoln, the embankment is falling apart because you have rotting railroad ties and boards. We need to firm that retaining wall up. In the future, we also need to extend or to firm up the retaining wall by Christ Community Church, where we're going to look to do that in the next fiscal year. So these are the items that essentially need to be done to get the pool to open. And that's how we came up with the $66,300.
Okay. Related to the pool's timeline, the contractor still believes he'll have this open for this summer?
Yes, he believes that he's ahead of schedule. I just need to get staff. We were waiting on approvals on this budget transfer to get these other items
Done.
worked on, done.
And these have all-
The additional electrical work and the wall, they've already, the additional electrical work, the contractor already has his electrician doing that. And we have the contractor waiting to do the wall in the pump room.
Okay, are we bidding out the other items like the exhaust fan price and the
The
replacement
exhaust
roof?
fan pipe, we are not, and we're not
Okay.
required to. The fence, we're not required to. The roof, we do have 3 bids.
Okay,
The retaining wall, I have 2 bids.
okay,
Yep, that covers those.
great, okay. All right, any other questions for staff related to this item?
Do you know where we are pulling the money from? Do you have an idea where you like for it to be pulled from?
Yeah, from the excess from general fund, the 133,000.
Okay.
The transfer from the end of the fiscal year 17 excess money.
The excess money we had left over?
That's where all these proposed items, that's where that money will come from.
Okay. Let's go to the next item, dog park.
Dog park,
I'm sorry, let me interrupt.
where am I at?
Board, is that okay by you that we're moving to the next item, or do we have any further questions related to the pool? I don't mean to jump the gun.
No.
No, we're okay? All right, my apologies. Okay, we are now ready to move to the dog park.
Okay. The dog park, we currently have a remaining budget of $4,890. We, as you know, it's been graded and excavated and the fence put up. We need to add approximately 3-4 inches of mulch. We're looking for some other fill to kind of go hand in hand with that. Mulch for that size area is $6,000. Concrete pads that we need to install when you go in the door, like the safety area, when you go in the gates, there's a safety area, and then you go into the dog park, to put concrete pads there. Signage is about $1,000. Benches are $5,200. 3 pet waste stations are $1,300. The water line install is $3,300, and the 2 drinking fountains is $4,000. And one of the items that we were looking to do, which it would be nice to have, but it's not a must-have, are 4 leash posts for people to hang their leashes. We are getting ready to make a push for the fundraiser again with a sign at the dog park that says future home of Town of Emmitsburg Dog Park, now accepting donations. You put it outside the park so when people are walking past there, I think people have forgotten about it because it's taken a while.
Can you put a, oh, go ahead.
Oh, you already started.
Can you put a sign up with what you would like donated, so they would know what to donate and the town's number, so they need to know what, that you need donated?
Yes, we're working on putting something together.
And I've talked to the vets in Thurmont and ours in Emmitsburg, and they are really excited about being involved. And they probably could elicit donations also if we talk to them.
I visited both of them prior to that. I have talked to both of them, and one of them, the local vet here, came to our one of our breakfasts, and then we went to a vet where they do operations, dog operations down in Frederick, and they made a small donation, but we're not getting a lot from them. But I went out and visited every one of them.
Awesome.
Okay, but we're working on it. We'll go back on. Well, they see it when it's up and around. They might get a little extra bounce in their step. Sorry, excuse me.
Any, Mr. Sweeney, any other questions for Commissioner Buckman? Anything else?
At the dog park?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Are there trees going in?
Additional trees?
Any
I
trees going
believe we
inside?
have talk of putting 2 additional trees near the entrance, but we're not sure yet.
Is there trees inside the dog park at all?
There's one.
I
at least
believe
one.
there's
Oh, there was one.
Two?
2 right now still in there.
I
That
haven't
we're
been
gonna
down
leave for
there.
shade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna leave for shade.
The drinking fountains. People drinking fountains
No.
or dog drinking
Dog.
fountains?
If
Okay.
you can drink out of you.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm just seeking clarity. Benches. I thought we were looking to have donors.
We're trying.
Those. Okay.
Unfortunately, we
All
have
right.
not received. We hear a lot of people saying they will, and we're not seeing the actual action yet.
Okay.
So we're going to try to promote it a little bit more.
We have 2 separate areas. Is that correct?
Right, you have a small dog and a large dog.
And we're getting 2 way stations, or I thought you said 3.
I said 3, 2 inside and 1 outside for people that are walking, that are like standing right here as you're walking by. Because the nearest ones are either at the top of the
Sure.
hill by the pool or out by the ball field as we're encouraging people to use them. Ideally, we'd like to have 2 inside and 1 outside.
Did we look into the waste stations with the recycled grocery bags? So we don't have that expense of buying all those.
We have not looked at that, no.
So the homemade style is like a PVC pipe that's capped. There's an oval cut into it. It's strapped to a board. It's a great Eagle Scout project, by the way, and it gives us the opportunity to be greener and definitely a bit more frugal. I think that might
Those
be.
pet waste stations go to your sustainable efforts and your green efforts and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, I'm for the pet waste stations, but 1,300 for 3 seems
It's an incurring cost to buy the bags.
right. Exactly.
That might be something for the Boy Scouts and stuff to do too. Get either try to raise money for something for the dog park or contribute somehow to the dog park with their efforts. Some activity they can do.
As you're looking at items, I would discourage taking off the pet waste stations. You may
No,
wanna
I'm not
look
trying
at
to
the You may want to look at crossing some other things off, but I would discourage getting rid of those.
I'd say drop the benches. The mulch thing I'm with, but I don't know if the town can create its own.
No,
Let's knock down a few
No,
trees and
it's not
trim them
that-
out.
it's not that
The
simple.
mulcher.
The unsafe ones in the park over there.
And benches, you're gonna need something set on while you're waiting for your dog to run around.
Yeah. Certainly, we do need those drinking fountains. I would say let's hold off on the leash station.
Yeah,
You
I
can
mean-
tie onto the fence.
Well, no, you don't want to tie anything. I mean, the
You hang
owner's
it up. So
responsible.
you go in, you got your leash, and and that's what I do at these are wish items. This is your ideal dog park.
Okay.
You go in, you know, I always do it. I just clip my leash on the fence. You do have a elderly community, so maybe not 7 benches, but you're going to need, and if you've seen it, it is quite long. So you are going to need some benches.
Well, so it sounds like we're asking for some modifications to what's in the plan right now. So when do we need this money transferred?
I would like to do it tonight so I can get the work done. I've been holding off on a lot of this work for this meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
One of the things that's tricky is this without it printed out in front of us. I mean, I'm going from what I noted here, but I don't want to miss anything. Mr. Ritz, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Well, no, I mean, I understand. I mean, we just got this tonight, so, and how much money have we raised so far with the fundraiser? I had high hopes for that.
1,500.
That's it. Okay.
So unfortunately, when the first dog park was designed, there wasn't as much effort put into the cost, because if there was more effort put into the cost of it, we could have probably gotten more grant money. Unfortunately, that wasn't done, and so the cost was not realistic when it was first presented. So with that being said, unfortunately, we had limited funds through the grant to work with.
Okay, so
To me, it just seems like the price of the dog park is going up and up.
Because
we
it
go-
wasn't,
as-
it
as
wasn't
we go
planned
along.
efficiently the first time.
Is the
That's
17
why I had objections to it initially too. Oh boy. Okay.
$17,000 for everything that's needed? There won't be any additional costs after that?
What I would like, I mean, what we can do is, I got another transfer that adds to, that kind of takes that number down a little bit. You want to keep going through some of these numbers, and then if you want, you can go back and approve them line by line.
it's just
Makes sense.
it does, but I find myself handicapped because I'm
copy,
making
please.
notes.
I have it broken out on my sheet.
If we could get a copy of that, I think that would be a huge help. And I think that gives us a more accurate picture. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. The other side, the cost for the dog park, Mr. Ritz, I do agree. Like, it does seem the funds are there. Okay, so there's an upside to it, but like my view would be, okay, we would hold off on the benches for the moment. We could hold off on the concrete at the airlock. Okay, the gate lock. Is that a?
I wouldn't hold off on, I mean,
Okay.
when she brings me my sheet back, I can tell you
Sure.
what I think is the best things. The concrete, if you don't put the concrete there, it's gonna get muddy, it's gonna deteriorate, it's not gonna be level any longer. You may have some drainage issues. And actually, I take that back, the concrete is not for the pads inside, it's the ADA access pad to get from the walkway to the
Okay.
dog park.
Well,
So
that's-
I apologize
Sure,
that.
sure. No, that's okay.
Incorrect. It's the ADA path to get to the dog park. So no, we can't get rid
Okay.
of that.
Is there ADA access? Like, for example, are we buying, what do they call that?
got one of those.
Prescriptive mulch then, so it can tolerate like, thank you.
It's the same
Wheelchair,
mulch that's
wheel-
used in our playgrounds. So it's safe for dogs and people. So it's the
Okay.
same one. It's playground specialists.
Sure, okay. It's organic though, is that correct? It's not synthetic? Because I don't remember
I believe
that.
so.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not synthetic.
okay. All right, so it binds and therefore someone with a wheelchair could access it. Okay, no, if it's access ADA, I have zero.
That's what it is.
Okay, I have
The
zero
concrete
issue with
pads
that
are the
spending
access
for that
ADA.
item.
The signage is required.
Sure,
Your leash posts you could do away with. You could cut the number of benches.
Do we really need mulch?
Yes.
The rubber, it's
Because
like
it
rubber.
helps, because what it's going to do is it creates a barrier to keep the weeds and whatever else is growing there from coming. I asked the same question. It keeps whatever was already there from growing back.
What about odor?
No, this stuff, it's not, it doesn't retain odor. It's whatever.
Paint and stuff with brushes through and out.
Yeah,
be porous,
it doesn't
yeah.
retain odor.
Okay.
Just like your benches, they're specifically designed for a dog park. They don't retain the odor. Your pet waste stations, your drinking fountains.
Okay.
I
So,
think we already have one bench.
okay, so one's
money-
donated, that's
money
great.
in there, and there's another person who will put another bench in, so you at least got two of the 7.
One per side, I mean, are they specifying where they want it or anything, or?
Well,
We just-
they
we just-
hadn't gotten down to what they want on it, inscribed, but they're $1,000 each, and I know we have one, and then we have another one, ready to go online.
Okay. I'm just saying that if we have, so long as we have donors who are willing to do that, that's great. What I'm saying is they're not both requiring them to be in the one versus the other. Like, I'd like, one for each, as it were, so far.
There's a St. John's one, there's a Gonzaga one.
People can bring their folding chair, right?
Sure, sure.
And then in a perfect world, if we do transfer the money and we do get donors come forward,
You put it back.
You can
That's
transfer
great,
it somewhere
right?
else.
Okay, so,
being optimistic.
Right, so that's
Right,
the way
right.
Fund 2 works. So you say you transfer this money into the dog park and we don't need it. We do get donations. It can be moved to another item with your approval in Fund 2. So if you see that we don't need $5,000 or whatnot in dog park, we can move it to somewhere else. If it's your street, your vehicles, your park, somewhere else in Fund 2 with your approval.
okay, so you're not spending it this week then? I mean, that's kind of the
No,
impression that I've
no.
gotten from.
My goal is to get the dog park up and running with the necessities.
Okay.
And then we
Look
can
for the
add on
amendment,
as
right.
needed. And hopefully with the new push on the fundraiser, we get some of the things donated.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so, board, quickly. I think the leash station was a perfect world. I think we can hold off on the leash station for the moment. Are we on board with that idea?
Yes.
Okay. We have here budgeted for 7 benches. The mayor has said we have 2 potential donations. Can we break that to 5? Is that accurate, Mr. Mayor?
We definitely have money for one.
Yeah.
We have one, and
Okay.
As we go.
and we
All
have
right.
another one on coming in.
So do you want to bring it down to 5? Or do you want to keep it at 7? Anybody have any thoughts on that one?
We
Mr.
don't have
Sweeney?
to, we don't have to put all 7 of them in, correct?
No, I don't know.
But if the money's left in there, we just transfer it back over.
There you go.
All right, so we'll retain the sum and go from there, Mr. Sweeney? Is that what you're suggesting, or do you want to
I would
reduce the
say
number?
yes, that way, it's there, but you don't have to use it.
We can move the money, and if you instruct staff to only, at this time, only put in 5 benches,
Yes.
then that's what staff will do.
Okay.
We can put the money there and not spend it.
So you're saying one on the outside and 2 in each.
I'd look at their schematic and see what their recommendation is. My thought is just phasing it in and, provide the direction as, basically, right now, let's look at 4 and then consider going beyond there.
Okay.
If the board is okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
All right. Signage is a necessity. That's how one uses
Rules,
the.
right.
Okay. All right. Concrete pads are for ADA compliance. The mulch, and again, it's not synthetic mulch. We're not talking about, because
Same as the playground.
Same as what's in the playground.
Playground,
Medium
And I'm
brown.
drawing a blank right
Right.
now.
all of our
Okay.
playgrounds.
right. Okay. Fair enough. Anybody else have any other questions or recommendations for this item? No. Okay. Do you have clear direction from us?
I do. Am I not doing the leash posts for now?
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Blanchard,
That's fine.
anything?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
all right,
good.
very good.
So right now, my plan is to do everything, 4 benches, no leash posts for now, and seek more donations.
Yes, okay. All right, moving from there. Next item.
Next item is 30999. General general.
Oh.
Okay. That is, the $15,000 is for a salt shed extension. As you know, the county has been allowing us to use their salt at no expense to the town for several years now in exchange for utilizing our salt shed. They are asking for a salt shed extension so they can store more salt here. Win-win for the town all the way around. So
Okay.
this is something that we wanted to do last year. We held off. We would like to do this year.
Any concerns regarding this one? All right, so absolutely, I think we're good on that one. So can I just hear it from everybody? Mr. Ritz,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Commissioner Buckman?
We're good.
Blanchard?
I'm good.
Yes, okay, so you have you have a unanimous consensus support on that one. Okay.
30 streets, curbs, gutters, sidewalks, and roads. If you've noticed, there's a large pothole that runs along Paul's Pit Stop's parking lot and borders the road that needs to be fixed sooner than later because it is getting larger. That is about a $5,500 fix. And then the request to take one of the alleys on East Main and turn it into a sidewalk, which will allow for pedestrian movement and access to the new Seton Center. And that is $8,500. That is still in the works. There's been no vote on it. There's been no vote to close it. It's something that is a future budget item that we would like to make the transfer now. If we don't use it, then we can put it to other sidewalk that we see necessary in town. I'm just using the $8,500 because that's the cost of that one.
Okay.
But we do
So
need
this
to add
is-
some money in the sidewalks.
This is a road access to the alley that they want to close and make it a walking path.
Correct. It's one of the narrow alleys along East Main, from East Main to East Lincoln.
Okay. So for clarification related to the alley, do we know the name of which alley that is?
We're still looking at them. I don't know what the mayor's recommendation.
Okay.
We're still looking at them. I think,
And there's been constant property damage to these buildings along the alley at turn points. Is that accurate? Is that?
Sorry?
There's been property damage to the structures at the turn points at these narrow alleys. Like the buildings are getting hit by cars and trucks using the alleys also.
Probably some evidence there, but.
Okay,
But
all right.
the main thing is to get the traffic, pedestrian traffic down to the new Seton Center.
Okay, all right.
That's what we're after, and Federal Avenue is too narrow. We looked at, can we run a sidewalk down there?
Is that
It would
not
be
hap-
obvious, but, so we're gonna jump over to one of these alleys, and way back when, I think it was in the comp plan to maybe do this, but we need to get a pedestrian way from the main street down to the Seton Center.
To that site in the school.
Uh,
Okay.
which they did at, was it School
just
Lane
a-
that runs right next to the fire hall, which you
Correct.
guys did some time ago? Something
Correct.
similar to
Correct.
that. One
Mr.
of-
Mayor,
Go ahead.
sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So,
please.
so the sidewalk's not happening at Federal Avenue, is that correct? Or there will be?
No,
Okay.
Federal Avenue is too thin.
Okay. And for clarification on the record, I'm jumping back to the lane. It's town-owned property, the town-owned lane. In
Correct.
front of the parking lot for Paul's Pit Stop.
Next one
It
up.
abuts Paul's Pit
The
Stop.
big hole
but-
there.
Correct.
Yes.
But it's town land, not Paul's
Yes,
Pit. Just
yes.
You were clear, but I want the record to be
Yes,
absolutely clear
yes.
so someone's not mishearing this.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, terrific.
her house.
Does anybody have any concerns about,
So that's a 14,000, if you add those two items, it's a $14,000 transfer to 385.
does anybody have any concerns about 385? And that's a $14,000 sum. The only
Skipped one.
The only concern that I would have there is we are not funding the alley closure and pedestrianization of it yet, but we are contemplating that. It's not an action item yet. But if, for the public record, it has to be clear that the funds would be made available, but we have not chosen to do that yet. Does everybody do we have clarity on that issue?
Yeah, and I just wanted to throw in too, the other side of St. Joseph's Lane, connecting North Avenue and East Main, I think is already closed anyway, isn't it?
No.
No, it's not.
That one's not? One of those alleys was,
One of them, I know what you're talking about.
One of them's
Yeah, the
closed.
one-
It's not that one, but I
Okay, I
can't.
got it.
Going straight, the one goes,
by
from
the
the old town
barbers.
office straight across.
Correct.
And that one's closed.
that's the one, okay.
with the
I don't
two
know what
awesome
that-
gardens.
I'm a street over.
Yeah. Knew it was one of them.
Can't just use that.
This is the wrong side of the street.
Oh.
So you want to use St. Joseph Lanes, not the other one?
We're not sure yet. That is one of the alleys we were talking about. We are still looking at it. Mayor would like to talk to everybody that lives out there.
Yep.
Before any decision's made, we have to get with our town planner. This is just a future item that we know we would like to do, and to set some money aside if approved to do so.
Okay.
Okay, so Commissioner Ritz, okay, that's a nod, yes. Commissioner Sweeney,
Yes.
Commissioner Buckman, Commissioner Blanchard.
I'm good.
Okay, and I'm on board with that too. So again, you have consensus there on that item. Okay, so moving forward.
Department 12, Planning, 999, an additional $10,000 to GIS for mapping the storm drains, the outfalls, and the stormwater management ponds for the MS4 permit to maintain compliance, as well as some additional mapping of possibly the lines that are more in the mountainous areas of town, because all of town's been done.
Okay, when you say lines, you mean water lines or other utilities?
Water and sewer,
Okay.
yes.
Water
But
and
the main
sewer,
focus
okay.
of this 10,000 will be the mapping of the storm drains, the outfalls, and the stormwater management ponds.
Okay. Second item, outfalls. I don't know that term.
Outfalls is your fields and streams and stuff.
Yes.
It's not.
So is it a drain to a field or,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
okay, okay,
There's
Different-
one over here by the pool.
okay, terrific.
Any of the gutter systems that's not covered or underneath
Right.
concrete or outfalls.
Okay, so, but
All
it
the
means
main-
water's
all the
delivered
main-
there from another
yeah,
spot?
All of our town water goes to one place and then it goes to the outfall. And
Okay.
it drains through onto the
That-
aqueducts, well,
As
down to
opposed,
the bay, I guess you would call it.
Sure, okay.
as opposed to an infall.
As opposed to,
Infall.
and we move forward, okay.
Yes, please.
Any concerns related to the GIS funding and, as delineated here? Any concerns, Mr. Ritz?
No.
Mr. Sweeney?
No.
Commissioner Buckman? Commissioner Blanchard? No, okay, you have unanimous consent for that item. Okay, moving forward.
Department 15, 108, 140 South Seaton. It has come to our attention that the outside of the building, all the window trims need painted, as well as the interior of the entire resident, or inside the entire house. Right now, there's only $243 in that line item. We'd like to add the $6,526 to cover not only the painting, but any other expenses that, might be in the foreseeable future for that house.
Can I ask a question? How much rent do we got from that building?
Do you remember off the top of your head? $650? No,
Oh,
that's
is
the
he-
other one.
Is it for the house?
I think
Is
it's
that
Yeah, for the house. This is for the house, the rental house.
Paul,
$750?
my role is old house.
Oh, she's gonna look it up.
Okay.
Okay.
How much was it?
She's looking it up. I don't recall off the top of
The
my
only
head.
reason why is if we can set aside some money out of the money that's being taken in for the place to go for maintenance in the future.
Yes, because it's the 6,500 is not, that's not gonna be, the painting's gonna be less than that. But we do know that we are gonna need some repairs.
Another thing. So maybe you
For
just-
the house itself and set aside. We like to keep a cushion in fund too for all these buildings, and that one was already down to $243, which doesn't pay for anything.
So you said for the exterior painting, it is just the trim we're
The
discussing
trim
and
on
the window?
yeah, the window trim is chipping,
Okay,
and then any other paint they may see on the exterior that need to be painted, but the whole house was just recently painted not too long ago.
Okay.
But the interior has not been painted in a considerable amount of time.
Sure, okay.
And that is in need of it for us to be, in compliance with any lead certification, because you can't have any chipping paint anywhere.
correct,
I do
okay.
have another question.
Yes, sir.
Is that house vinyl on the outside? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know.
If it is, you can wrap the windows and stuff and never have to paint them again. Have them wrap them in vinyl, and you never have to worry about painting them again.
For some reason, I want to say it's not vinyl, but I do not know. I haven't actually, without looking
my
at the
house is old
lease.
too. Mine was built and we just wrapped all of our windows and everything. You don't have to worry about painting them ever again. Even
Right.
your posts,
Right.
your posts on your porches and everything can be wrapped in vinyl, and you'll never have to paint them again.
Good. Okay. We'll
Or
keep
your
that in mind.
trim and everything.
And the rent there is $750. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, for that house, it's pretty good. It's a
it's a
big
pretty
house.
good price. I know.
9 a year. Okay, so, any concerns about these maintenance items related to the property at 140 South Seaton Avenue for that fee? No. Okay, Mr. Sweeney, I'm sorry, Mr. Ritz, you're okay with this?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said no, there were no
Yeah, that's
issues.
okay. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm okay.
It was a bad question. Mr. Sweeney, are you okay with it?
I'm okay.
Okay, Commissioner Buckman,
I'm okay.
Commissioner Blanchard. Okay, we have unanimous consent for that item at 140 South Seaton Avenue. Okay, next item.
Final item would be, well, not the final item, but last item would be in the buildings again for the 104, Section 104, Maintenance Office, 22 East Main Street. We had water damage, and they fixed, if you recall, I had money set aside to fix the mold. They fixed the mold, but now we have water damage that needs to be repaired on the on the inside of the maintenance office at 22 East Main, and that's estimated at $4,500.
Now, is this water damage related to the shenanigans of the deputies, or is this from?
It's a water balloon fight.
Oh, very good.
Um,
All right.
No,
Again?
I knew it.
Again? All right. So,
Is it a drainage problem
no.
from a roof?
You know, I don't recall what caused it. I believe it was, yeah, it was a drainage. It was gutters that leaked, and then they ended up with mold inside their walls, and then now we've got to fix the water damage.
okay. And this is since we've had the new gutters, or have the new gutters?
New gutters are in. Everything's been fixed.
that's
This is
squared
the
away.
last step in fixing that problem.
Okay, good.
Terrific.
That makes more
Okay.
sense.
All right. And therefore, any other questions for staff? No? Okay, Mr. Ritz, is this reasonable by your judgment?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Commissioner Buckman? Okay, Commissioner Blanchard? Okay, again, you have unanimous pardon me. Unanimous consent on this one. Very good.
Thank you.
I think we've hit our tipping point on clarity. Okay, and therefore, so at this time, we've removed the leash cost from here. We've,
No, I thought you were going to leave it all in there and just direct staff not to do it and just leave the
Yes.
money in there
okay,
to be applied other places when this whole project's completed.
so, board, are we removing the leash funding, or are we leaving that in as we are for the benches?
I would just leave the money in there, and then you can send it somewhere else.
Okay,
She'd come right back to us and ask us to put it here or there.
okay, Commissioner Ritz?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Blanchard?
I'm fine.
Okay, all right. So, board, do we feel we need any further direction to clarify the spending process for the items we discussed related to the benches, for example, and the leash? Because town staff has said they will not be spending that money yet until they revisit this with the board. Do I understand that correctly? I don't want to put words in your mouth, so that's what I'm trying to.
No.
I believe the direction is to go ahead, we can move forward with everything
Okay.
except only do 4 benches for now and do not do the leash posts for now.
Okay.
That was my understanding.
Okay, and that's, I concur. Board, we're good. We have clarity on this issue.
Yes.
Okay, so are we okay? This is an agenda item. So
I
do we
make
have
a
any other?
motion to
Okay.
accept the budget transfer for $133,571 as presented.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second for Mr. Sweeney's motion?
I'll second the motion.
Very good. The motion's been made by Commissioner Sweeney, seconded by Commissioner Blanchard. Is there any further discussion? No? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Anybody against? Okay, the motion carries 5-0 for this item. Great. Thank you, folks.